sir, family. Get ready. Is everybody ready? Is everybody prepared? Hey, guys, in the comments, go let me know who's aware of how vast and how big this crypto bull cycle is going to go. Guys, listen, we are getting prepared for a super cycle in our asset class. Realistically, the whole crypto space, but especially those coins that are dealing with finance, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, HBAR, XLM. Guys, and like I said, the broader market in general, but specifically those that are in that line are about to do the Watusi, things that we have not expected. This is going to be vastly bigger than the original bull run. And like I said, I've got a video here with Anthony Pompliano basically speaking on why this time is so much more different and then everything that's building in, guys. Let's tap down in this, guys. This is major information. Prepare yourself. Understand, I spoke on it last month where I said November was that breaking the breaking point. November was the trigger month, right? Well, here we are, guys. We're coming in. You're not going to be able to experience XRP at 60 cents, not even Bitcoin at 43 cents, and Ethereum for those that are holding that at these price points. And more, guys, we're about to get ready to do something drastic. Hey, let's tap down and let's. I think Anthony does a job of explaining. Let's get down to it.
Quickly, $42,000. What do you ascribe the move to?
Yeah, Bitcoin is a free market asset, and I think one of the things people forget in finance is that markets are forward-looking. And so what we're seeing here is people are allocating to an asset that they believe is going to go up in the future, obviously. Things that will drive that are the Bitcoin ETF, but as people are allocating to this, 70% of the circulating supply of Bitcoin has not moved in a year. The reason why that's important is this is an 800...
Guys, you're going to break it down, but like I said, just listen to these keynotes. Guys, we know that the Bitcoin ETF is coming in. That is billions, hundreds of billions of trillions of dollars that are coming into the market space that are going to be coming from exposure of Wall Street. We already know that what's going to occur. Bitcoin is going to be one of those coins as far as what Wall Street uses to get exposure to cryptos. It's a standing asset, a hard asset. It's been the proving factor. So understand, we are all in the same sector. That money spills off on the altcoins to follow, and especially those that are in that same financial sector. So a win for Bitcoin is a win for us. But keep tapping down. 70% of people have not sold a Bitcoin in this last year. The high, all-time high for the amount of people that are holding their coins. Got to listen.
$100 billion asset that has gone up 150% over the last 12 months. So when an asset goes up 150%, you would expect people to sell into the strength, kind of take profits. That's not happening. And so Bitcoiners are not selling that Bitcoin. They're not going to sell it to Wall Street. And so Wall Street's going to have to continue to bid up the price in order to
that share issue. So the 70%, that has not changed, not just this past year. But by the way, that has not changed, I don't think, for many, many years.
It's always been very high. 70% is the all-time high, so it's been creeping up, which has this reflexive kind of feedback.
All-time high.
So if more people won't sell and price goes up, then price continues to go up even more rapidly.
Okay, the other 30% that is moving.
Yes.
Do you think that, I mean, I don't know if you can look through some of the numbers. Are those new buyers? Are those the old buyers who owned the original 70% saying, I want more? What is that?
So it's interesting when you look at the data. It's a little bit of everything, right? There's definitely more accumulation happening. So people who already had Bitcoin are continuing to buy more Bitcoin. An interesting statistic is if you dollar cost average every single...
Realistically, that 30 split is going to be traders, people utilizing it for financial payments and things like that. That's what that 30% number is. You're never going to have 100% of the asset. Now, Bitcoin might get very well close because eventually this is just going to be an asset for holding wealth. One of our gentlemen was speaking about, so are you going to transfer your profits to USD? No, not the mass majority of them. The mass majority, I'm going to be dumping straight into Bitcoin as far as a holding place, a financial hedge. Bitcoin is that for me. So I look at Bitcoin at the vault. XRP is going to give me the moins, and I'm going to be stuffing those into Bitcoin as far as keeping the protection until we get further security as far as the ability to put those assets up and have them staked, right? I feel a lot more comfortable with that being with Bitcoin because Bitcoin is going to have that exposure and be one of those real big Wall Street coins.
Single day with $10 from January 1st until now, you're up 100%. So with all the boom, the bust, everything in between, a Bitcoin analyst, Dylan LeClaire, pointed out, you're up 100%. So just dollar cost averaging alone gave you a great return.
CNBC
now, there's also this net new wave of capital coming in. So you have the institutions, but also you have a bunch of people sitting on the sidelines saying, well, if BlackRock wants Bitcoin, maybe I should buy some as well. Yep. And so that net new capital is definitely starting to come in, but I don't think we're actually going to see it until the gun goes off.
Okay, but the real move, I think, seemed to happen as a function of this idea that the Federal Reserve, the new wisdom, whether it's conventional or otherwise, or right even, is that they're going to ultimately have to turn things around and lower interest rates sometime in 2024. Is that what you ascribe? I mean, there was the ETF piece, and everyone said, oh, over here, it's the ETF piece. And now everyone says, oh, no, it's actually this.
Markets are forward-looking, and if you go back to 2021, Bitcoin started to fall as soon as the Fed started talking about we are going to cut rates. And so people were like, oh, wait a second, inflation is high in the summer of 2022. Why is Bitcoin falling? It's supposed to be this inflation hedge asset. But it was because Bitcoin and the holders saw what was going to happen. Same thing's happening right now. Bill Ackman's betting that interest rates are going to get cut in Q1. The market's pricing at 100% likelihood of an interest rate cut.
And y'all can just see how drastically these prices are moving. We were at 40. We were sitting talking about 42. Now, literally in the same day period, and I think this came out in the afternoon of, what was it? I think today actually this dropped, either today or yesterday afternoon. But here we are up at 44,000. Same with XRP sitting around that 64 cent mark. The time is now. People just look at the writings on the wall.
Q2. Bitcoiners right now and people who want Bitcoin say it's going to happen even earlier.
What is the share right now internationally of ownership of Bitcoin? Meaning, is it predominantly in the United States? Is it predominantly in China? If you were to make a pie chart of the ownership on a globe, what would that look like?
So let's separate Bitcoin and hash rate. Hash rate, about 35% or so, is in the United States. When China banned mining, the United States was the big winner there. Right. Ownership's a little bit harder because there's so many wallets that we don't know exactly geographically where they are. But you can see capital flows. The United States and Asia seem to really be driving a lot of the capital flows right now. The European region is actually a little bit behind and not allocating nearly as much. And so I think that America is going to be a big winner in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency race. We see companies being built here. Coinbase being a fantastic example, up 330% over the last year to date. And what we've watched is regulators have stepped in, and they basically are slapping the wrist of anyone who is not operating within the American financial system.
Michael Saylor, has had, I guess, down at 17,000. There were people that thought that he was going to get like a margin call or something. He's back now.
Coinbase is up almost 300% year to date.
He's got 174,000 Bitcoin. He's up $2 billion on it.
He made some weird comment the other day, and that was about what percentage of the global financial system, in his view, Bitcoin will represent at some point. And then he did some simple math and came out with some crazy number. What was it?
Guys,
there's all kinds of numbers that fly around.
But it was like 5 to 10 million per coin or something was what he came up with.
If Bitcoin just simply matches gold, it'd be $500,000. If
500,000 if it matches.
Just matches gold at $10 trillion. Now, if you continue to look at other assets it could eat into, if you have $1 today,
and basically what he's talking about is the utilization as far as like with gold, how much utilization or transfer of that specific asset that's occurring. If the same thing was occurring with Bitcoin, right? Which again, the crypto space is building out. It is going to be the newer form of how this thing goes, but it's still very much young and building out. Once it gets to that same point as gold, they're saying Bitcoin 500,000. Guys, this next super cycle, what we're in right now, this bull rally, y'all understand that Bitcoin is going to cross that 100,000 threshold mark. Also at the same press push is where we're going to be seeing that XRP at 100 marks, 150, things of that nature. This is what you're going to get from this bull market, which is queued and already kicking off now.
And you want to store wealth. You historically could have bought gold. You could have bought, fine art. You could have
Good God.
all kinds of real estate.
1 second. Come on.
Whatever.
Get with it.
Yeah, hard ass.
Young people are saying to themselves, I want to buy the hardest asset I can find, which tends to be Bitcoin. And it's liquid, and it is the best performing asset over the last 10 years.
But it's not but the Saylor question is how much of it becomes part of the quote-unquote financial system. And is he suggesting that there has to be a payments element or an actual transaction element?
But he was saying gold. You weren't saying a payment. If it became part of the payment system, it could be much bigger.
Well, but it also, if it became part of, and this goes back to, can it really be part of the payment system and have and continue to increase? Because as we've discussed a million times, if it keeps increasing, nobody's ever going to use it
except if you.
And even though this guy's always talking trash, I want you to understand this is the cue of why XRP is the 2.0 and is going to overtake Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to be that store of wealth because Bitcoin doesn't have the means, how slow it is, the circulation. It is not meant to be able to deal with all those transactions and have the liquidity. That is going to be a store of wealth. XRP is going to have that utilization as far as the transfers and the cross-border settlements and the NFTs and such and things like that. That is what it's built for, right? This is what it comes down to. He has a good question, but of course, at the same facet, he's talking on the perspective of the same thing that was happening when the internet first came out. There was that clip that was circulating around where the internet, I mean, what are you supposed to do with it? He just doesn't have the awareness of what is occurring with the crypto space in general, right? But he still asked a valid point.
Except there's that company we had on that uses just tiny little pieces of Bitcoin
here's what I would say. Whenever
to do it, and it doesn't matter the little minuscule variations on a daily basis.
Whenever I talk to someone in private and they ask me about Bitcoin, I tell them it's very simple. If you think that the Federal Reserve and other central banks are going to have to print capital or print money in order to finance all of this debt, then you're going to want to be in something other than dollars. And therefore,
you've got to get Andrew on board.
This is
still not on board.
I have been crypto-curious
Are you more skeptical?
From the beginning.
But at 25,000, you were really...
I was proudly early on my crypto curiosity.
There's a number you once said that if it hit, that you would think about buying it for your kids.
$5,000.
$5,000.
Right. But at 25, you were really saying this is way too... Now it's 42.
We're going to cut it right there, guys, on that video. There's not really... The last portion was really just a mumble jumbo because the guy said, well, if it hits this, I'll buy in at 15,000, 25,000. Well, here we are sitting at 44,000. He's basically like, hey, listen, you've been skeptical since it came out, and there's not a better, you tell me what hard assets you could put your money in. Like he mentioned, there's the $800 billion asset, right, that provides the same liquidity as crypto or Bitcoin, right, that you could take your money. There was somebody who was speaking on this where they were like, crypto is keeping those banks honest. Because at the end state, in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can take all your crypto and move it to another bank. You can put it in Singapore, you move it to Dubai, to where it's at the point to where, unlike how it is with the fiscal dollar, where we're just getting screwed and there's this and that, you're like, all right, I only got 5 banks to choose. I have no option. You have to just deal with the trash they're giving you. 0.0001 return on investment while they taking 99%. You know, that changes an aspect of crypto because you're able to bounce it around, move around, levy it, and things like that. This is going to be a reform of the financial system in that, right? Is putting the power back into the hands of where it should be, which is the person putting the money into your threshold for you to allow the transaction. That's who's supposed to be able to call the shots. Now, pulling on through, guys, hit these last keynotes. We're going to close it off. Information Metaco, which of course is owned by Ripple. We worked with our partner, IBM, to help build the Hyper Protect offline signing orchestrator, OSO, a new technology to deploy cold storage for digital assets, which is a drastic requirement for top-tier banks and financial institutions. Quick little read over here. Today, IBM announces IBM Hyper Protect Offline Signing Orchestrator, OSO, a new technology to help deploy cold storage solutions for digital assets in the latest edition. It's a confidential computing portfolio. OSO is designed to address limitations of current cold storage offerings for digital assets, including the need for people to perform manual procedures for the execution of cold storage transactions. It helps protect high-value transactions by offering additional securities layers, including disconnected network operations, time-based securities, electric transaction approvals by multiple stakeholders. Guys, understand what's occurring here now is that we're getting to the point of when you have your cold storage or your cryptos, they're getting to where there's not going to necessarily have to be a manual I got to log on to ballot with my 2 things and go on, or I have to go to uphold, move it for my ledger. They're pulling that away to where it's going to be a quick transaction, somewhat to like tap or card. You saw the same thing that was happening with MasterCard, right? While they're coming online. Well, guys, here we are. Now it's going to be able to work in an offline mode to be able to secure transactions, things like that of, even larger scale. The writing is in front of you. Look at how it's breaking out. Hyper Protect OSO provides a policy engine that broker communications between 2 different applications that have been designed to not not to communicate directly with each other for security purposes, providing efficient, securable solution to facilitate digital asset transaction. Guys, it's coming through heavy. Another quick little banger here. We are excited to announce our Modern Dash Director Product Manager of CBDCs at Ripple will be speaking at the launch of our Future Payments Report 2023, developed in partnership with Ripple on December 13th, which again, this is with the Digital Monetary Institute. They have brought in, which they are partnered with Ripple, one of our speakers that's over the CBDC that's going to be speaking over. So you got to understand, the time is now. It's in front of you. Don't get it. Hey, you never will. Like, hey, but y'all, like we say, we getting over here loading up for some thoughts and yachts. We over here getting rich together. Do what you want to. If you're not holding any cryptos, if you're not in these top assets, these altcoins that are following that financial market space, hey, not financial advice, but I promise you it's going to be the biggest mistake you ever made. Little last point. Guys, make sure that you are pulling your crypto, especially XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, off of the exchanges and putting them onto a cold storage wallet. It's not something to play with. Do not be lazy about it. These are $35, $30 with my discount. Click the link in the description to ballot. Use ItSoMonMon, or you can go to Amazon as well. And there's a link as well. Guys, ride with it. You need to have some type of cold storage. Keeping them on that, keeping over these exchanges is playing with yourself. Protect your money, protect your asset, guys. Much love to y'all. Much love to Money Mafia, guys. We're banging it out. We're pushing up to 1,200. Guys, I'm calling 2,000 subscribers by March. 2,000 subscribers by my birthday, guys. Much love to y'all. I appreciate y'all. You know I love y'all boys. As I mention all the time, hey, XRP Army, Money Mafia, hey, we in this together getting rich, baby. Y'all already know what it is, don't you? Oh, yeah. Hey, click that subscribe button. Yes, sir.